And hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I've been busy. I've been doing a lot of overtime. That's why I've not been recording. I do plan on from now on, because I don't really do much on the weekends, is recording 2 videos on each weekend. One for the weekend and one midway through the week. Send us 2 uploads a week going forward, and there should be no more breaks. That's how I plan on doing this. 2 videos recorded every weekend. One for the weekend, one for midweek. That's our plan going forward. Hopefully I should stick with it. But yeah. Anyway, for today's video, again something a bit different. Speedway related, not anime. And we are doing a because the Grand Prix is I've left this very late actually. The Grand Prix is tomorrow. This probably won't even go. This will go up tomorrow. Probably like 3 hours before the Grand Prix. But we're going to predict. Well, I'm going to try and predict as accurately as I can where I think the Grand Prix lineup will go. Because we've got some people that got kicked in through wildcards. Some haven't. Some are new people, and some are the usual ones that qualify for the top half and stuff like that. I have spent a good while literally going through the past couple of seasons, and I've looked back of where each rider finished in last season and the year before. Then I'm also taking into account the averages over the past 3 seasons, and because some riders wouldn't have been in the Grand Prix last season, but they might have been in it 2 seasons ago, or they might not have been in it 2 seasons ago, but just in it last season. And the Polish Extraliga, they basically face Grand Prix riders week in, week out. So I think taking in the averages of what they score in the Extraliga is a good thing to consider. I know the Extraliga is weaker in a sense than the Grand Prix, because the Grand Prix, every single race is a world class rider, where the Extraliga you might get the odd couple here and there, which they're just not buns, but the buns compared to the Grand Prix lineup. I've got 5 categories. I've got top 3 who I think will finish top 3. Then outside chance I reckon they will finish top 6, but they have an outside chance of finishing in the top 3 based on previous performances. I've got mid, so those I think will not finish top 3, but they'll be fighting for a chance to automatically qualify by finishing top 6. Lower end are the ones who I think are off chance of finishing top 6, but I don't think they will finish top 6. And then buns is people who I think will just not finish at all anywhere near the top 6, and they'll either need a wild card to get back in next year, or they've just done that shit where they're gone, they're finished, it's over. Which I've already got a few who I think fit in buns. So first riders first, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to put him top 3 straight away. It's the current world champion, 6 medals, Bartek Schmazik. Can't really put it past him, he's can't really put, barring an injury, he is respectfully due a bad injury. Like, every rider typically gets a big bad injury. It puts him out for weeks or even months. And he's yet to have one in his 13-year career. But not everybody does get a big bad one, but then it could be just a simple one. So I got hay fever, my nose is itchy. But he is due one. I'm not saying career ending or life threatening, but even just something that puts him out for a couple of weeks. Like a dislocated arm or a shoulder or just a broken leg or something. But if he does just get his one of them crashes, that puts him odd down the list. I think he is due a crash. When that will come, I mean, he could pull off a miracle and does not have a single bad crash for his whole career. I mean, he's 29, 30 already? So he's already done 12 professional years and not had a big crash. There is the chance. But you say you can't put that in. Look at the past 3 years. 2015 2.643, 2014 2024 2.4, 2020 2.5. He's been enough he's averaged 2.5 a match in the extra league for the past 3 years. And last year in Landshut, he won it. Landshut's the first round in the Grand Prix this year. Last year he won it, and the year before that he came second. So then say, look, Prague again won it, came third 2 years ago. Manchester had 2 rounds last year. He came second in the first, and he won it the day after. Wrocław last year came second. 2 years ago came 7th. Melilla again second, first. Riga 4th, third. He's finished top 4 in every Grand Prix coming up in 2026 for the past 2 years, barring Torren, because Torren last year was for the Speedway of Nations. And then 2 years ago we finished 7th in Wrocław. Other than that though, he's finished top 4. He's reached the final of every Grand Prix. And as I said, he's averaged 2.5 in the Extraliga every single year the past 3 seasons. You can't put it past Bartek to finish top 3. Brady Kurtz, moving on to the second one, is a question mark. He had a fantastic first year. What?
Discover Northern Europe.
What?
MSC Cruises. Best holiday ever.
Fucking adverts. Fucking adverts on the tier list website. Where was I? We've had it a few times in the past where riders come into the Grand Prix and they come second the first year. Madsen done it, came second in his first year. Dudek done it, came second in his first year. I'm not sure who else, but a few riders have come to the Grand Prix very first year, came second, and then they've not been as good or the same quality the following years. Some even getting knocked out of the Grand Prix. I hope that isn't the case for Kurtz. You can't put it past him to be like that, because it has been a pattern in the past. But last year, Extraliga, he averaged 2.2, very respectable. Landshut came 4th in Landshut, which is respectable for the very first time on the track, and it is like a gator's paradise, Landshut. Prague, he came 10th. Okay, so Prague is a hard one to judge because he was in second and he was going to qualify for the final, but his chain snapped. He wasn't in a comfortable second, and Madsen had the speed on him, but his chain snapped. If his chain snapped, would he have gone down? Would he have held a defensive line against Madsen? We don't know. He came 10th overall. Manchester came 3rd, then came 2nd. Then he had just Wrocław, Melilla, Riga, and Wojens. He had 4 wins on the bounce. Obviously, he wasn't in the Grand Prix 2 years ago, so I got NA for most of his things, and Torrent wasn't a Grand Prix in Torrent, so I can't judge on that. It was not an out based off last year. It's not far off the shout that Kurtz could be challenging for the world title. Obviously, based off the two of them, Kurtz had a better year. I think I worked it out that they actually finished equal on points. Because you obviously get points per position you finish in the Grand Prix. I worked it out actually, they actually finished equal on points last year from the Grand Prix. And the only thing separating them was 1 Grand Prix point, and that came from the sprint races. So in terms of the Grand Prix, they're both level. I think he scored I think Schmazik scored 184 and then Kurtz scored 183. But when it came to actual Grand Prix positions, they finished equal level, like 150 something or 160 something, and the 1 point difference came from the sprint races. So if I could, I'd put them both in the same slot really. I'd like do this or do this. I'd put them like overlapping. I like Bewley. I'm a big Bewley fan. I can't be biased during this. Bewley, certain tracks, Bewley is inconsistent with his gating, which does not help him at all. If he could learn to gate more consistently, it would help him in the Grand Prix. I mean, you see it there, like, his average the past 3 seasons has gradually dropped in the Extraliga. But he still manages to finish 3rd in the world. It's like he's performing better in the Grand Prix than he's performing in the Extraliga. 2nd and a 7th, Prague 6 and 12. He's improved, barring Riga. His every appearance last season has been an improvement to 2 seasons ago. Brutally honest, I could probably see the same top 3 this season to last season. Obviously, again, Manchester has Bewley's childhood track. Basically, it's always grown around things like near just 18 onwards. Then Latswavi knows. Malilary seems to do good round, so she makes the gate. Land shuts the gate in Paradise. She just sets about the gate and took the inside. You tend to be alright. So I think Bewley is world class. She can generally ride every track. It's just a case of doing it consistently. Lindgren is a place in my heart. I love Lindgren. He's been a rider at my club for a very long time at Wolverhampton. Obviously stopped at the end of 2018 season. But I've always watched him, and he's like the only Swede right now who's carrying the torch. He is getting on in his age. You do see it in his averages. They have gradually declined in the Extraliga. I mean, he's 41. I think he says 42 in September. Lindgren. His gating isn't there anymore. He relies on the outside dirt being there, and he has to get to it first. He can be inconsistent. When you look at his Grand Prix positions from the past 2 seasons, there's not much consistency in his Grand Prix finishes. But he is 4th in the world, finished 3rd about 2 years ago, finished 2nd 3 years ago. There is the off chance that he will finish in the top 3. Depends what Lindgren turns up this season, but he has got the experience and the speed. I think last season actually, on the Extraliga app, it showed that Lindgren had the fastest straight line speed. I think in the top 10 straight line speeds recorded, I think he had like 4 positions. So can't put past Lindgren. Jack Alder. He's in the same kind of boat as Lindgren, where there's a lack of consistency. No, it's the same kind of it's lack of consistency like Bewley in terms of gating, but he has speed. But he is still that bit of lack of consistency. Like he has good days and he has bad days, good days and bad days. When you look at his average is fantastic actually. 2.1, 1.9, 2.0. He's actually doing brilliantly in the Extraliga. When it comes to the Grand Prix though, as you can see, a 9th, then a 4th, then a 5th, then a 4th, consistent there, but he drops to an 8th, then a 5th, and an 11th. He's a bit all over the gaff, to be brutally honest. I think he won a Grand Prix last season. That was Worcester. But that's not in the Grand Prix circuit this year. It's been used for the World Cup. He has the off chance again, it depends what Jack Holder turns up. In case you're wondering why I'm not looking at the current extra league averages, it's because there's only like 3 meetings done in the extra league. It's too early to tell. And to be brutally honest, it's hard. It'd be unfair because some teams have rid Chesterhover, some teams haven't, and the ones that have are basically been given a fucking average boost because Chesterhover's shit. And every way they go, they're getting battered. And everyone's just getting 3 maximums and 3 double figure scores, even reserves, they get wasting them. So they're getting like average boosts. Some teams have rid them, some teams haven't. It wouldn't be fair to judge them. Lebedev, I'll be honest, I don't see him. I see him fishing mid. I like Lebedev, he's a good character. But simply looking at the sheet, you can see it 1.6, 1.7, 1.6. A third, a fifth, a 16th in Manchester, and then a 13th, a 6th, and a 9th. It's too sporadic. There's no again, there's no consistency. Like, Lebedev can have a good night. If he's having a good night, he's dangerous. That's the bottom line. If he's having a good night, he's dangerous. But I don't see him. He could potentially qualify automatically, but I'm putting him in the bottom end at the present moment. Then we've got 15 spots. I can't put all of them to qualify because then I'm basically saying that 15 riders are going to finish in the top 6. Lambert. I'll be brutally honest, I don't like Lambert. It might be British, but I don't like him. I only ever cheer for him when the British race jacket's on him and he's riding for Britain. The guy's a bearded twat. And I hope that he fucking... I wish I could put him in buns, because I just don't like him. But he doesn't deserve to be in buns. He finished second in the world 2 years ago. He's mid. Lambert is mid. I mean, 8th, 14th, 6th, 15th, 7th, 7th, 7th. It's then at 1.8. He's like 1.9 to a 2.2. Fantastic. 10 to a 2.2. Pardon me. To a 1.8 is like a fucking. It's terrible. And then again, the lack of consistency in Manchester UK track, which is pretty much, if you have speed, you can do well. And you're doing terrible. And it's a track that he's won the British title on, so we can't say he doesn't like the track. I wish I could put him in buttons, but I can't. Frick annoys me because he's better than how he performs in the Grand Prix. You watch him in Swedish League, Danish League, or British League in the Extra Liga, and he performs. He does well. Like, say, 2-point average, 2.07, 1.9. He gets your points, he battles. But then for the Grand Prix season, for some reason in the Grand Prix against the same riders, he can't do it. He's just shit for some reason in the Grand Prix. Which is unfortunate. 7th, 13th, 9th, 10th, 14th. I mean, yeah. Going off what I'm reading, he was better 2 years ago than last year. I'm going to have to put Frick bottom end, but I think... It pains me to say, but I think Lebedev would do better than Frick. Like, I think league racing wise, Frick is better than Lebedev. But for some reason, when it comes to the Grand Prix, Lebedev performs better than Frick in terms of consistency, especially based off last year's results. I mean, Frick's best result last year was Manchester, and he evidently took him to the second day to perform well. The first day, he finished 9th. And Manchester, by the way, is a track which he rode for the best part of most of his British career when growing up. He was there from 2016, 17, 18, I think 19? So he had 4 years around, 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 4 It was almost unstoppable. Like when your Frick was coming out, it was like, oh fuck, here's Frick, type of thing. So I don't know what happened to Frick. Doyle, Doyle. Doyle. He's in the same boat as Lindgren in a sense. Like, he's 41 or 40, turning 41. He's getting on, but the past 2 seasons he's finished so far down the table, like midway. I know last year he had an injury and he finished quite down the bottom. I've seen his score. He's dropped to Middle League Poland. Scores Middle League Poland's been good. His scores in Denmark's been good, but I'm gonna have to put him bottom end. Would he outperform Frick and Lebedevs? It depends on which Doyle turns up, to be honest. If it's a good Doyle turn up this season, then it's fair game. He has the experience, but it's his age and reflexes. Like, can he hack it now? Like, Fred's doing it. That's because Fred's just setting his bike up to go max speed in the dirt, hitting the dirt line and praying it works. Doyle's racing the lines which you're supposed to ride, but his age ain't really working for some reason. I'll keep him there for now. Kibera, he's not doing great. I mean, last season, 15th, a 13th, a 16th. I'll be honest, Kibera last season, I'm gonna have to put him in the buns category based off last season. He's starting off this season in the Extra Liga, actually riding good. But he was riding good last season in the Extra League. I mean, 1.9. It's not a 2, what you expect from a Grand Prix ride, but 1.9 is still respectable across 5 rides. That's what, 5, 9, 18, 27, 36, 40. That's still like a 9.5. Yeah, well, a 1.97 average. Is still 9 to 10 points a match in the Extra Liga, which is actually respectable. But for some reason in the Grand Prix, this guy did dreadful. He did much better 2 years ago, actually. You can compare the two. Look, Landshut 6, 4. He did better last year. Prague 15th, did better last year, 4th. Manchester, he did better the second day. But in that swap, he came 16th in that swap. He got beat by the wild card. I think it was Janoski or Kowalski, I don't remember. He came 12th. He did much better 2 years ago. He only did better this year in 1 round than he did 2 years ago, and that was Riga. We officially have our first rider in the Bundes category. Madsen and MJJ. I don't know why I'm speaking about both of them. I'm trying to be focusing on the one, but they're both Danes and they're both back in the Grand Prix. Madsen's back in the Grand Prix. Madsen's back in the Grand Prix. I think it's been, what, 3 years? Since Madsen was in the Grand Prix? 3-4 years? MJJ, he was last in the Grand Prix a long time ago. I think 2015. It's been like 10 years since MJJ was in the Grand Prix. I think it's like 24 back then. Or 23. Jesus Christ. It's been a while since MJJ was in the Grand Prix. See, MJJ and Madsen are hard to judge because both of them not really in the Grand Prix for you. Madsen's done a few appearances in the Grand Prix as an injury replacement rider and as a wild card. MJJ turned up for 1 Grand Prix last season as in Voyant as a wild card and came 3rd. Last season, MJJ, for the first half of the season, was the only rider challenging Schmarzlik's average. I mean, every meeting Schmarzlik would ride top of the averages, MJJ would ride top of the averages, and for the first half of the season it was just neck and neck, just swapping over each other. It was only the second half of the season when MJJ kind of slacked off a bit, but still managed to achieve a 2.2 average, which again across 5 rides is an 11-point average a match, which is fantastic in the extra liga. Madsen 2.172, basically almost the same as MJJ in the extra liga. I might have to put them both. I might put MJJ slightly above Madsen. I'm putting MJJ above Lambert, but Lambert above Madsen. No, I'm putting Madsen above Lambert. Doyle's the one I'm stuck on. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. I'm happy. So far, I'm happy. Dudek, the dude. The Dudek, and outside chance. There's no question about it. Dudek 2.3. Dudek's came to the Grand Prix, I think 6 or 7 years ago now, and Dudek made his Grand Prix debut. Came second in the world in his first attempt. Absolutely fantastic. Then he just slowly dropped and went down, and he had like a bit of like a standstill in his career, where he wasn't really improving. But in the past couple of years, he's gotten back up the rankings again. Now he's back in the Grand Prix, and last year he's had the best. I mean, say, if you look at my data, if you look at my information, 3 years ago he had a bit of a horrendous season, 1.7. Then he put 0.300 back on his average, and he's put another. So he's gone up 0.600 in the past 2 seasons. Which is absolutely fantastic. In the extra liga, absolutely beautiful. You love to see it. I do see him being an outside chance. I can see Dudek, based on how he's performing this year and how he performed last year, to finish top 6, possibly even finish top 3. I will be honest, as much as I love Lindgren, I think Dudek sits there. Now it's the next. These two are the 2 biggest problems. I don't know how to judge them. Verena has his highest average is a 1.8 in the extra liga. He's never had a Grand Prix, so automatically I have to put him in buttons and below Kibera. And he's not really done fantastic for. I'm surprised he's even in a job still, because he did 2 okayish years at a team for Chester Hover, who just about avoided relegation. In the past 2 years. He's now moved to Lublin and in a much stronger team, and there's less pressure to perform because everyone's performing. He is riding better this year. But purely because he's new to the Grand Prix, I'm putting it in buttons because how's he going to adapt to the pressure of the Grand Prix? Extra Liga, it's your team's cheering you on. When it comes to the Grand Prix, it's not just your team, it's kind of like your whole nation's watching you and cheering you on and wanting you to beat the other nations. And it's more pressure. You go to Prague, you got 10,000 people watching you. You go to Ratsfeld, you got 13,500 people watching you. You go to Torren, you got 20,000 people watching you. You go to Manchester, you got 7,500. It's they're used to the crowds, but they're used to Polish crowds. And the Grand Prix is not just Poland, it's worldwide. Everyone's watching you, and you know that. And all the big sponsors now, you're going to pretend the potential to get bigger sponsors are also there watching you. There's a lot of pressure that comes into the Grand Prix, and it depends if you can hack it or not. Like, one example is Craig Cook. Craig Cook went to the Grand Prix, he thought he was Mr. Big Balls. He went and bought like a massive wagon to advertisers in the Grand Prix, took it around Bellevue. It's like a big wagon for his bike, not like a van, but like a literal Arctic truck with Craig Cook all over and everything, all his bikes. Now he spent loads of money advertising that he's in the Grand Prix rather than buying all top-notch Grand Prix equipment. And the pressure of the Grand Prix just crashed Craig Cook. Craig Cook went from being one of Britain's best to just absolutely getting obliterated, and is now just about holding a fucking heat leader position in the championship. Craig Cook went downhill so fast after his Grand Prix year. I think it made him come to look, because he was beating Grand Prix riders in the British League on British tracks. But I think actually racing against the world's best time and a time again every match and getting absolutely wasted every race. I think he won one race in the whole Grand Prix series the year he was in it, and even then that was around Cardiff. A man-made track where it's neutral. Moving on to the final one. This rider, I'll be honest, is the one I'm excited to see how he performs. The Ukrainian. I think it's Peneza Panishki is how you pronounce his name. Probably butchered it so incorrectly. But I'm excited to see how he performs because I do like him. I like seeing an underdog. I like how in the extra league they got Nazar Panishki at reserve performing really well for zen-oh. Then they got Mateusz Poliestad performing really well for it's either GKM Guzhons or Guzhov. It's one of the two. Future me, help me out. But yeah, Nazar Panishki, Mateusz Poliestad, Adam, Bubba Bednar. I like seeing young riders of lower nations performing really, really well. So I'm interested to see how he does. And I know normally I've been looking at the previous seasons, obviously because this is his very first season in the Extra Liga. I've been watching how he's been performing in this year, and his average after I think 3 or 4 meetings for zen-oh is 2.86, which for a reserve is absolutely bonkers. It's ridiculous. So I'm gonna put him above Verina because he's got a higher average than Verina. I think he has a higher average than he has a higher average than both Kibera and Verina. Well, Verina and Kibera's season from last year, he's got a higher average than them right now. But the reason I'm keeping Kibera above him, actually, you know what? Would you look at that? A magical new category has appeared. And Nazar Panishki fits right in it. Yeah, I can't bring it in myself to put him in buns. I don't think he's lower end, but I don't think he deserves to be in a category called buns. I think I might just put Duel there because Duel has been world champion. He can do it. He has shown flashes of it before he got injured again. I think that's Duel's downfall right now. He just keeps getting fucking injured, the death bastard. But yeah, I'm happy with this. Thank you for joining me. It'll be interesting to see how much of this I get correct. Like how much of these finish top half, how much of these finish bottom half. Who will come out on top between Kurtz and Schmazik? I mean, someone could throw in a curveball. Fucking MJJ could go on a mad one, or Madison could go on a mad one, and challenge on both. You never know it. That's the joy of Speedway. You can't really predict it that well. You can give it a good, educated guess, but you can't fully predict it. And I think that's the beauty of Speedway and why I love it so much. But yeah. Take care and peace.